Students, in last lectures we have covered all the topics that were related with the combinational circuits, and in today's lecture we are starting very important part of our this subject, and that is about the sequential circuits. And one of the example of sequential circuits is the flip-flops. So in this lecture we will discuss the sequential circuits as well as the flip-flops. So first of all we will see that what is a sequential circuit. Basically in the combinational circuits we are having only the gates, and by using those gates having a Boolean expression, and by using those gates we can implement that Boolean expression. But in the case of sequential circuits, it depends, its output always depend upon the input. Now what output and what input? That is the present output, it depends upon the present input as well as the past output or the outputs. In the combinational circuit, the present output is dependent upon the present input, but in the sequential circuits the present output is dependent upon the present input as well as the previous outputs. So such type of circuits are known as the sequential circuits. In sequential circuits the most important part is the memory. In combinational circuits we don't use any kind of memory, but in sequential circuits we use the memory. Why we use the memory? So that we can store the previous state of input as well as the output when it becomes the previous output. The combinational circuit doesn't use any memory, hence the previous state of input doesn't have any effect on the present state of the circuit. But the sequential circuit has memory, so the output can vary based on the input. This type of circuit uses previous inputs, output, clock and a memory element. You can see from this block diagram, here we are having a combinational logic circuit. We are giving the inputs to the combinational logic circuits and getting the output. This is simply the combinational circuits. But if we are having a feedback, and what is that feedback? The feedback is this, that this output first of all it is storing, and where it is storing? It is storing in a memory element, and then it is going to the combinational logic circuit, and then we will get a new output. So in combinational logic circuit the present output it depends upon the present input as well as the previous output. So the previous or past output, basically the previous and past output, now it becomes the input. That's why we are saying it depends upon the output, it depends upon the input. So such type of circuits are known as the sequential circuits. So there are basically two types of sequential circuits. One is the synchronous sequential circuits and other is the asynchronous sequential circuit. So first of all, what is the sequential circuits? These are the circuits in which we use the clock. Such circuits are known as the synchronous. And what is the asynchronous, in which we don't use the clock signal. So such type are known as the asynchronous. So synchronous type, it uses pulsed or level inputs and a clock input to drive the circuit with restrictions on pulse width and circuit propagation. And asynchronous sequential circuits, they don't use the clock signal as asynchronous circuits do. As synchronous circuits do. Instead the circuit is driven by the pulses of the input. That asynchronous circuit, it only depends upon the input circuit. So now we will discuss the first one, sequential circuit, and that sequential circuits are the flip-flops. So first of all, what is the flip-flops? Basically flip-flop is a memory element. As we have seen in this diagram here, the memory element. So basically the flip-flop is a memory element. So a flip-flop is a 1-bit memory cell that can be used for storing the digital data. We can use one flip-flop or more than one flip-flops, so that we can store more and more data in it. So this is the flip-flop. So basically flip-flop is a memory element or memory cell. So first of all we will discuss the types of the flip-flops, and first thing that we have to discuss, that we are discussing here, that is the SR latch. Now basically what is SR latch? Here S stands for the set and R stands for the reset. So basically the set, reset, flip flop or latch. Here I am using the word flip flop or latch, and we will discuss this later, that what is basically the difference between a latch and a flip flop. It is designed with the help of two NOR gates, and as well as we can also design it by using the two NAND gates. These flip flops are also called the SR latch, as I have given the title here, SR latch, and these flip flops are also known as the SR latch. So RS latch using NOR gate. Here consider this thing, previously I said SR latch, and here I have written is RS latch using NOR gate. So remember this, why I am writing it as RS, because whenever we are using the NOR gate, here the circuit diagram I can explain, I will explain it later, but simply tell this one thing. When we are using the NOR gate for the RS latch, then always remember this, the upper input is R and lower is S. That's why when we are using the NOR gate, we use to write the RS latch for our convenience. So in this case, the S stands for the set and R stands for the reset. So we are discussing RS latch. The design of such a flip-flop, it includes two inputs that are known as the set S and reset R. There are also two outputs. First one is the Q and second one is the Q complement. That is Q complement that we are taking. Actually the output is Q and the another output is the Q complement. The diagram and truth table, that's in the next slide. But remember one thing, when the circuit is reset, then it always means that the Q is equal to 0, that the output is equal to 0. And if the circuit is set, then it means Q is equal to 1. Now comes towards this. So in order to understand this, and if you understand this, then it will be very easy for all of you to understand the other types of the flip-flop. So first of all, before this figure we comes here, first of all we will discuss the case 1. Here we are having the basically three cases, 1, 2 and 3. So I am taking this figure here, and from here you can understand it very easily. So first one is the case 1, as I said this. Here is the RS latch here. The upper is input is R and the lower is S. We are using the two NOR gates here, and from here you can see this, that the first one NOR gate, here the output is Q, and this is going as becoming the input of the second one, and here we are having the Q complement and it is becoming the input of the first one. So first of all we are taking the case when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So now we consider it when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. Here S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. For this you must know about the truth table of this NOR gate. So here is the truth table of NOR gate. So we are here again at the first one diagram. So our first one case is this, when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, means here we are having 1 and here we are having 0, and here is the truth table for the NOR gate. From here you see this, whenever the input is 1, here we are at the last side, we are having the inputs 1. Let me clear it to you more. Now whenever the input is 1 input is 1, there may be any input. Regardless of this, the other is having what kind of input. Whenever there is any input is 1, then output is 0. Here we are having the 0. So it means when R is 1 and S is equal to 0, then Q is equal to 0. Here you see this, when S is equal to 1, when R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 0, then Q is equal to 0. And this is here, that S is equal to 0, R is equal to 1, then Q is equal to 0. Now when this, here we are having Q is equal to 0, when this 0 goes here, when this 0 becomes the input of the second one, then you see here what is this here. So when Q is 0 here and S is 0 here, so when we are having the input 0 0, when we are having the input 0 0, then the output is 1, so Q complement is equal to 1, and that has been written here. You see this, when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, then Q is 0 and Q complement is equal to 1. Now in the next case you see this, when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. Now we are having this condition, we are having this case when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. Both are when 0 0. Now what will happen here? So remember one thing, as this is a sequential circuit, so it means when we were having the input when R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 0, then we get the answer Q is equal to 0 and Q complement is equal to 1. This must be stored because we have to use it further. So this will be stored in a memory element. And now when we are having S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, now what will happen here? So R is equal to 0 and at Q complement the last output was 1. So here is 0 and here is 1. So when we are having 1, 0 and 1, sorry, here we are having 0 and here we are having 1. So when we are having 0 and 1, then the output is 0. So Q is equal to 0. Now see this, here what we have the answer in the case 1, the previously Q is equal to 0, that has been stored in it. So Q is equal to 0, now Q is equal to 0 and S is equal to 0, so 0 0 is equal to 1, so Q complement is equal to 1. Now in this case we get the Q complement is equal to 1. So when 0 0, the Q is 0 and that is 1. See here, previously we are also having the output this 0 1. And now again we are having the output 0 1. So it means when SR is equal to 0 0, then basically here we have the memory. Here we have the previous state. And what was the previous state? That was the 0 1, and that has been mentioned here. That when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, then Q is equal to 0 and Q complement is equal to 1. Basically this is memory. It means that when both are 0, then they remain in its previous state. Now we will discuss the case 2. Now the case 2 is this, when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. Now comes here, now there is no previous memory, nothing is here. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, that is our case 2. S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So again see here, if any of the input is 1, then the output is 0. So it means Q is equal to 0. So when S is 1 and R is equal to 0, so see here, if any of the input is 1, regardless of the input of the other one, the output will be equal to 0. So it means when S is equal to 1, then Q complement is equal to 0. Now we will take the Q complement first. Why? Because here S is equal to 1. That's why. So now Q complement is equal to 1. When this this Q complement is equal to 0. Now this 0 when goes here, so 0 0 is equal to 1. So Q is equal to 1 and Q complement is equal to 0. That has been mentioned here. So Q is equal to 1 and Q complement is equal to 0. So in this case we are having this. Now again we will discuss the second case in which when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. So comes here, now S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. When S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, then see this, what previously we are having the output here was the 1 and here was the 0. So here we are having 0 and here we are having 1. So 1 comes here, so 0 1, 0 1 is equal to 0. So Q is equal to 0 here. So here we are having 0 and this 0 also comes here, so 0 0 is equal to 1. So q complement is equal to 1. That now q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 1. That is basically the previous state. So again it means it is a memory, so it remains in its previous state. So here we discuss the two cases. The first one case is when s is equal to 0 and r is equal to 1. Then q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 1. And after that, when we have s is equal to 0 and r is equal to 0, then it remains in its previous state. In case 2, we have seen when s is equal to 1 and r is equal to 0. Then we have q is equal to 1 and q complement is equal to 0. And after that, when again we have s is equal to 0 and r is equal to 0, then q is equal to 1 and q complement is equal to 0. So again it remains in its previous state. So it means whenever SR is equal to 0 0, then q and q complement, it will be the previous state. So that has been mentioned here in this truth table. When we are having 0 0, then memory, or you may say the previous state is here. And similarly, when we have 0 1, then 0 1 here. And when we have 1 0, then 1 0 here. Now we will discuss the last case, and that is when we have 1 1. Now when we have 1 1, then what will be the output? So let us do it here. So here 1 and we are having 1. So see here. So now when both are 1 1, so from this table when both the are 1 1, then we have the output 0 here. So here we have 0 0 here and 0 here, because here is also 1 and here is also 1. So 0 here and 0 here. And this is basically the most confusing part here, because q complement is here. Then it is understood when q is equal to 0, then q complement must be equal to 1. But here you see this, when we are having both 1 1, then the output is 0 0, regardless of the value of the other one. So q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 0. That cannot be possible. So basically it is the invalid state. So when s is equal to 1 and r is equal to 1, then q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 0, which can't be possible. So it cannot be used. Now taking this, we see when s is equal to 0 and r is equal to 0, then what will be the output? So now r is equal to 0 and s is equal to 0. Let's start from here, that q is equal to 0. So when this comes here, so 0 0 0 0 is equal to 1, so q complement is equal to 1, and this one comes here, so 0 1 is equal to 0, so q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 1. So q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 1. So here we have started the analysis from q is equal to 0, but if we start it from q complement, that q complement is equal to 0, so here is 0 and here is again 0, so q is equal to 1. And when here we are having, when this was 0, so 0 comes here, sorry, now we started from here, q complement is equal to 0. When it comes here, so 0 here and 0 here. So what will be the answer? That q is equal to 1 and q complement we have taken, that was 0. So when comes here, this one comes here, so 1 0, that is equal to 0. So it means now q is equal to 1 and q complement is equal to 0. So here the same inputs, we are having the same inputs but having the different outputs. Why so? Because s is equal to r is equal to 0. So one time we get the answer q is equal to 0 and q complement is equal to 1. But at the same time, when s is equal to 0 and r is equal to 0, q is equal to 1 and q complement is equal to 0. And it can't be possible that when we are having the same inputs but getting the different outputs. So it can't be possible. So it cannot be used. So that's why we say this, the case 3 is the most confusing case here. So basically this is the invalid state here, not used, or invalid state here. So here is the truth table basically. When 0 0, then the memory here, that is the previous state. 0 1, then q is equal to 0, q complement is equal to 1. When 1 0, so q is equal to 1 and q complement is equal to 0. And when 1 1, then it is not used here. So this was all about the RS latch. Here I have discussed all these things again, so you can only read it. Now here we are having the SR latch using the NAND gate, and here is the circuit diagram as well as the truth table for this, and you will do it by yourself. It will be exactly as same as that of the RS latch using the NOR gate. And here one thing you say, here we are saying this SR. Now in this case the upper input is S and the lower is R, and remaining things are the same. So that was all about the SR latch. So if you have any question or any query regarding this, then you may discuss it with me during question answer session. Thank you.